Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. Hope you're well. I've been in the studio this morning doing a really big clean up. I've got a new cabinet I've put in the corner here, and I've been able to shuffle things around and give myself a much clearer space. As you've heard me say so often, I really need a clear, fairly neat space to be able to clear my thoughts and allow the creative thoughts in. So that's felt really good. I've decided I'm going to, this big trolley, I'm going to have that a little bit more mobile instead of in the corner here, so I can access these paints a lot better. And that also means I've got more frontage of the bench here. So that feels really good. I've been really excited about this piece I showed you last week, and also a little bit stalled by it. You've heard me also talk before about being brave. I like it so much, and I'd like to paint another one along those lines, and I've become a little bit stuck this week of what if I can't repeat it. And of course I can repeat it. I did it. I know how to do those things. So it's funny how your mind plays tricks on you like that. So I am going to repeat it. I am going to have another go and really follow this, because obviously if I'm daunted by it, a little bit scared by it, but excited by it, it's obviously the right direction. You've got to have that thrill in it, and it's not necessarily got to be a little bit hard, but it's for me particularly, the challenge has to be there. It needs to be engaging, and challenging can help that be engaging. So I showed you this piece as a comparison last week, where it had the lovely glazes but really was quite lifeless in comparison. And I actually did put gold leaf. Those of you that follow me on Instagram will see that I had gold leaf on this first, and I ended up covering the whole lot over, which was disappointing. So I've just given this a little bit of a sand to try and bring some of that gold back. And I've also knocked off, there was a little bit of texture here that I wasn't enjoying, because of it was texture from the painting that I've already painted over on this one. So texture's fine, but when it doesn't really relate to what you're doing, I find it really, it just doesn't marry in the piece. So I've knocked all of those things back, and I thought we'd have a bit of a play trying to see where this one can go, and not being too precious about it, because it's not working anyway. So let's have a play on this one. For those of you that are interested, here are my colours. They're very similar to last week. I have the Venetian red with titanium white mixes, quinacridone red here with titanium white, the quinacridone nickel azo gold with some titanium white, some of that with the blue to make my green, and some titanium white in the blue to give a more pastel shade. And last time the blue wasn't giving me a deep enough blue and enough contrast, so I've swapped out last week's blue for this midnight blue. It is in the flow paint, so it's a softer body paint, but it'll mix perfectly well with the heavy body paints I've got here. And this is a newish color to me, and I'm really loving it. You can see it's a really lovely deep blue. And of course I've got the titanium white. Well, that was an interesting exercise. Try and get the shine off. There's so much interesting in this. Of course, it's very, very different to that, how bright that one is and how blocked in the colour is. You can pick up a little bit of the gold fleck in it, but lost a lot of that gold in there. And it was interesting as I was going, I really liked this upper portion and really wasn't liking this lower bit. And as you saw, I completely took the paint off there and reworked that. Now I'm absolutely loving this and didn't like this anymore. So yeah, in the end came in with the spatula, just try and bring back some of that brightness that the bottom section has. And you know, that's been, yeah, fairly successful. Is it as successful as the other one? I don't know. It's interesting how my mood when I introed this was about the darks and I wanted more dark. And I certainly got that. This has got a lot more dark in it than the other one. And also very interesting, same color palette. But this, because my focus was on getting some dark contrast, it's yeah, a deeper painting than the other one, even with the same color palette. Just changing that blue up has made the blues different, of course. But I'm loving this section here and learnt a lot. It was also interesting, the nature of the colors that I've got are all very transparent, and particularly that Nico Azo Gold is a really lovely transparent color. And I really, as you saw at the start, really got attracted to the atmospheric nature of that, and I had a good portion of that all dedicated to that, which I've pulled back a bit in the end. So I played a lot more with glazes, not with any medium, but just with a little bit on the towel, as you saw, and rubbing. It's also made this very different because it had a lot of finger and towel in it rather than brushwork. So yeah, would I hang this on the wall? I'm not sure yet. I'll need to sit with it. I'll need to have a break and be able to come back to it with fresh eyes. Certainly was an interesting exercise. And yeah, I just love this. So who knows, I might completely wipe this and yeah, actually as I'm talking, that's what I'm thinking. I might completely rework this top bit. I also don't like how I managed to get this intersecting almost like a bullseye. It would have been better if they had have intersected across one of the thirds there. But anyway, there we go. I hope you got something out of that by watching me explore that. And I hope you're encouraged by this also, that if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. Just have a play, as I always say. Have a play, have a go. Get in your space, get in your zone, and just throw some paint around and you'll have a lovely time. I'm pretty exhausted. It's a big afternoon of painting, but I've had fun, I've learnt stuff, and I've got 1/3 of a painting that I really, really love. So who knows, watch this space, we'll see what happens to this top half. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider do so. If you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up also if it's been fun, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a lovely week. Bye.